Most people think 1950s women saved money because life was cheaper. Darling, no. They saved money because they treated the household like a tiny business. Every dollar had a job, every leftover had a second life, and every impulse purchase had to survive a woman with a grocery list and no patience for nonsense. Now look at modern life. One delivery dinner a week at $42 is $2,184 a year. Two forgotten subscriptions at $14 each are another $336. Add coffees, impulse groceries, replacement purchases, and one little online cart at midnight because apparently your nervous system needed a linen jumpsuit, and suddenly, normal has eaten $4,000 or $5,000. Not from one dramatic mistake. From Tuesday, Claire grabs coffee because the morning exploded, orders dinner because the fridge looks emotionally unavailable, buys a new blouse because the old one has one tiny pull near the sleeve. Modern money leaks do not look like financial failure. They look like normal life. Now, let's be clear. This is not a fantasy about the 1950s. Women had fewer choices, fewer rights, and far less financial freedom than they deserved. But inside that restricted world, many women developed ruthless household intelligence. They stretched food, delayed purchases, repaired what still had life in it, and quietly saved because the household depended on it. The women of the 1950s understood something brutal. A household does not need a bigger income first. It needs fewer holes. So let's start with the habit that made every dollar behave before it had a chance to escape. Cash had a job before it had a chance to escape. The most powerful budget app in the 1950s was a kitchen drawer. Not elegant, not digital, not syncing across devices with a tiny blue cloud, just envelopes, cash, labels, consequences. Not because cash was magical, because cash was visible. A woman could open a drawer and see the grocery money, the milk money, the church money, the emergency money, the do not touch unless the roof is performing jazz money. And when the envelope was empty, the answer was not emotional. It was mathematical. Dinner changed. The purchase waited. The household adjusted. Today, money has become invisible. Tap, swipe, subscribe, auto-renew. Buy now, pay later. The modern bank account is like a handbag with no bottom. Everything goes in. Everything disappears. A modern version of this habit is simple. Create spending categories that are physically or digitally separate. Food, gas, household, fun, gifts, emergency, not vague budgeting, assigned money. Because unassigned money is the most flirtatious money in the world. It will run off with candles, shipping fees, and a skincare serum named after a fruit. Margot rule: if money has no name, shopping will name it for you. Habit 2. The grocery list was not a suggestion. It was a contract. In many 1950s homes, shopping began before anyone entered a store. The woman checked the pantry. She checked what was about to spoil. She planned meals around what already existed. Then she wrote the list. And the list was not there for decoration. It was the fence. Modern grocery shopping often works backwards. People walk into the store and ask, "What do I feel like eating?" Darling, that is not a question. That is a financial emergency. The store is designed to answer it with expensive little solutions. Pre-cut fruit, prepared meals, snack packs. The 1950s method was different. One chicken became Sunday dinner, then sandwiches, then soup, then stock. That chicken had a full-time job and a retirement plan. Today, the same logic saves serious money. Before shopping, build meals around 3 things: what you already own, what is about to expire, what can become 2 meals. This is not poverty thinking. This is executive thinking. A wealthy person does not waste assets, and food is an asset. The refrigerator is not a museum where spinach goes to become swamp water. It is inventory. And now comes the part modern people hate most, because buying food is only half the game. The real money is saved after dinner when nobody is watching. Habit 3. Leftovers were not old food. They were tomorrow's plan. Modern culture has made leftovers strangely embarrassing. People will spend $19 on a sad desk salad, but feel tragic reheating yesterday's dinner. The 1950s woman did not see leftovers as failure. She saw them as protection. Leftover roast became hash. Vegetables became soup. Stale bread became breakfast. Nothing walked into the trash without being interrogated first. The trick was not just saving food, it was saving decisions. Because the most expensive dinner is often not the best dinner. It is the dinner you buy when you are tired, hungry, annoyed. And one child has announced that socks feel too socky. That is when convenience wins. So steal the old habit. Cook once with a second meal in mind. Rice becomes fried rice. Roasted vegetables become a frittata. Chicken becomes tacos. This is not glamorous. Neither is paying $42 for delivery because nobody planned for Wednesday. And Wednesday, darling, arrives every week. But food was only the beginning. The real 1950s discipline was even more annoying to modern marketing. They used things until they were actually finished. Habit 4. They used things to the end, not until they got bored. The 1950s woman had a quiet rule modern marketing absolutely despises. Use it up. Toothpaste was squeezed until it looked personally offended. Jam jars became storage. Old towels became cleaning cloths. Today, people replace things because they are tired of looking at them. Half-used shampoo, 3 open moisturizers, 6 cleaning sprays under the sink. My dear, that is not abundance. That is inventory chaos. The modern version is simple. Before buying a new product, finish the old one. Before opening a new one, use the one already open. Before replacing, check whether the thing is actually empty, broken, or simply boring. Because boredom is one of the most expensive emotions in the modern home. Habit 5. Repair was a reflex, not a personality type. In the 1950s, many women knew basic sewing, mending, stain removal, and clothing care. A missing button was not a shopping opportunity. It was a 5-minute interruption. A hem came loose, needle, thread. Done. Today, tiny damage often becomes permission to replace. A sweater pills, so it becomes old. A zipper sticks, so the dress is dead. A chair wobbles, so suddenly someone is browsing dining sets at midnight like a raccoon with Wi-Fi. Repair was not quaint, it was a financial interruption. The modern version is not sewing every dress from scratch. Please, we have lives. It is refusing to turn tiny damage into a shopping event. Once a month, gather the small broken things. Buttons, loose screws, shoes that need polish, clothes that need de-pilling. Then repair, tailor, clean, or take them to someone who can. Because the cheapest item is often the one you already own, especially if it fits, works, and does not require a payment plan. Margot rule: do not let one loose thread become a $180 refresh. That is not fashion. That is surrender. Habit 6. Big purchases waited their turn. Before credit became effortless, many families used a different rhythm. Save first, buy later. Layaway captured that idea perfectly. You chose the item, paid toward it, and took it home only after it was paid off. Very unsexy, very effective. Because waiting reveals the truth. If you still want it after 6 weeks, maybe it matters. If you forget about it after 6 days, congratulations. You did not need it. Modern life has reversed this. Now we get the thing immediately and feel the cost slowly. That is dangerous. Because the excitement arrives first, the regret arrives in installments. A 1950s-style modern rule: anything over a chosen amount, say $150, $300, or $500, gets a waiting period and a sinking fund. Not because you cannot afford it, because you are proving it deserves a place in your life. Want new furniture? Create the furniture fund. Want a holiday trip? Create the trip fund. Want a designer bag? Fine. Let the bag audition for your money. If it cannot survive the waiting period, it was never luxury. It was dopamine in leather. Habit 7. Entertainment happened at home more often. The 1950s woman understood something modern people have made painfully expensive. Social life does not always need a receipt. People gathered at home, potlucks, coffee, card games, Sunday dinners. Was it always glamorous? Absolutely not. But the principle was brilliant. Connection did not require constant commercial packaging. Today, many people cannot see friends without spending $70. Dinner, drinks, parking, Uber, a little outfit because everyone will be there. Suddenly, friendship has a cover charge. Bring back hosted simplicity. Soup night, tea and cake, backyard dinner, movie night, clothing swap, shared brunch where everyone brings one thing. This is not cheap. This is socially intelligent. Because if every relationship requires restaurant pricing, you will start isolating when money gets tight. And isolation is expensive in another way. The old habit kept community close and costs low. That is not nostalgia. That is strategy. So how do we use this without moving into a time capsule? Start with a 7-day reset. Day 1. Name your money. Create categories before the week begins. Day 2. Shop your kitchen before you shop the store. Plan 3 meals from what is already there. Day 3. Cook 1 meal that deliberately becomes 2. Day 4. Repair 1 thing instead of replacing it. Day 5. Choose 1 purchase you are about to make and delay it for 14 days. Day 6. Replace 1 paid convenience with a home version. Coffee, lunch, dinner, entertainment. Not forever, just once. Day 7. Move the money you did not spend into savings immediately. This is the part people miss. Savings must be captured. If you save $18 by not ordering lunch, but leave it floating in your account, it will quietly become snacks, parking, or an emergency lip balm. Move it, name it, protect it. That is how tiny savings become visible. And once savings become visible, behavior changes. The secret of the 1950s woman was not that she had no desires. Please, women have always had desires. The secret was that she knew the difference between desire and leakage. Desire can be planned. Leakage must be stopped. That is the lesson. Not oppression, not nostalgia, not pretending life was easier. The real lesson is household command. Money came in, money was named, food was used, things were repaired, purchases waited, community stayed close, and savings were protected before modern life could nibble them to death. Darling, wealth does not always begin with a raise. Sometimes it begins with a grocery list that finally stops flirting with chaos.